Brian Kendrick makes a statement after being pulled from AEW Dynamite, plus a released NXT star is making an indie comeback, and we have details on a possible celebrity match for WrestleMania 38. It's all in the wrestling news right now. Brian Kendrick in the news today. What a wild ride the last 24 hours have been.
Yeah, it really has been. I think a lot of us were really excited about seeing Kendrick in AEW. He had his release granted by WWE. He wasn't especially happy there. And then it was announced that he was going to be on Dynamite last night. But then mere hours before the show, Tony Khan released a statement saying that he wouldn't be on the show due to some offensive comments he made a long time ago.
Yeah, so it was in a High Spots video back in 2013, and a clip of this emerged last night, and it shows Kendrick talking about global conspiracy theories, secret underground groups. He makes some incredibly offensive comments about the Haiti earthquake, the Sandy Hook shooting, and the Holocaust. When this video was shared online, Tony Khan, as you say, issued a statement saying, "We've been made aware of abhorrent and offensive comments made in the past by Brian Kendrick. There is no room in AEW for the views expressed by Brian. We think it's best for all that Brian be pulled from tonight's card as we gather more info." Instead, we saw Jon Moxley face Wheeler Yuta, Orange Cassidy and Danhausen in Yuta's corner. There was a good chance for Wheeler Yuta to really showcase himself there. With such limited time, they just had to do something. Like, obviously, they couldn't get Shane McMahon on a flight quick enough. And that's understandable.
That's the thing. These Kendrick things. I mean, the most shared Kendrick stuff is the shoot video with him and Paul London when they are very high. And they say some funny, ridiculous things, and it's been, everybody's known for a long time that Kendrick is a bit of a conspiracy theorist, but I always thought it was sort of quite harmless stuff, and he was just this crazy stoner character with some out there views, and people can believe whatever they think. But the stuff that he was saying yesterday, I think was pretty bad, pretty offensive. Tony Khan isn't being unfair with what he said in that tweet, and I think also pulling him from the show, despite the fact that he said these things a long time ago. That said, Brian Kendrick has released an apology, and I think it's quite a classy apology given the circumstances, actually. I think he's dealt with this as well as one possibly can. He says, "I apologise for the hurt and embarrassment I've caused with my words. These are not my beliefs and never were beliefs of mine, and I crossed the line. I spread the most vile comments without thinking of the damage that it would cause. I will live with this regret for the rest of my life. I'm truly sorry for the pain I've caused." And he's just totally owned it there. And yeah, these comments were made a long time ago. It doesn't change the fact that they're very offensive and will be hurtful to a lot of people. But yeah, he's just gone on and said, yeah, I own it. I was wrong. I didn't believe these things. Make of that what you will.
Yeah, because I mean, like the things like, the subject matter we mentioned at the beginning, like horrifyingly, that's the tip of the iceberg with some of the stuff that Kendrick's come out with over the years, as has been discovered through places like Reddit and in shoot interviews and stuff like that. And so, I mean, it's a weird one to say they were never beliefs of mine when you so passionately spoke about them.
Numerous times.
Yeah,
I don't, but I don't know. Looking at that, I think he probably is sorry. Maybe he's just saying this because he's had a potential payday pulled and something that might lead on to something.
But he's left WWE, which I think was a job that he probably could have had, and just for as long as he wanted.
Even in modern day WWE, he's probably released next week.
But I mean, there is that, but I don't think this would have come to light had he not been so very heavily in the news in the last 24 hours.
Curious timing. It was posted to Twitter, it was shared massively, and yeah, I mean, those comments have existed online for an awful long time. They haven't been difficult to find, and I don't think somebody would have grabbed it, uploaded it, and made it shareable if he hadn't gone over to AEW. But nevertheless, he said these things. I respect the fact that he's owned them. Again, if he truly doesn't believe these things, then okay. But at least he's made that apology, and I hope he grows from the experience, I guess, because they're pretty horrible things that he said.
Very much so. Some good news for Ember Moon, who was one of the stars whose 90 days were up yesterday. And there are so many great people now out into the free world of wrestling. You know, Keith Lee, Mia Yim, Oni Lorcan, Karrion Kross and Scarlett, Ember Moon amongst those as well. And she has been announced for Warrior Wrestling. She's going to be facing Thunder Rosa for the women's title in Illinois, February the 12th. So next week this is going down. She's gone back to her name Athena, which was the name that she used before she was signed by WWE. More stuff of Ember Moon on the indies now. That'd be really cool.
Yeah,
Aaron Rose will have a great time.
It was one of the craziest craziest releases, not signings, as far as I'm concerned, because I just think she really did have it all, and her time in NXT was so tremendous, very, very entertaining, and there were glimpses of brilliance on the main roster, but she was one of those wrestlers that was never really allowed to actually show what they were capable of on the main roster. And I think she's great in the ring, but she's really super marketable, and I think she's a total package. So I was really surprised. I shouldn't be surprised anymore by these WWE releases, but I was surprised because I think Ember Moon is absolutely class. So good luck to her. Totally good luck to her, and what a match to get started, eh? Thunder Rosa.
Yeah.
That's great. That she's gonna show exactly what she's capable of.
They will have
just in case
fun.
you forgot.
They will have a lot of fun doing that show at Warrior Wrestling. Hall of Fame details have come to light, so it's going to be held at the American Airlines Center after SmackDown. So normally they would do the Hall of Fame as its own separate thing, but they're now plugging it into SmackDown as well. And if you bought a ticket for SmackDown in Dallas before WrestleMania, you get a free ticket to the Hall of Fame as well. You lucky devil, you. You lucky devil. It's going to be a long night.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you want to listen to Hillbilly Jim go on for about 4 hours, then you go nuts. He's back. He's been inducted twice, obviously.
Yay!
But
that's why you don't go messing with a country boy.
I don't know. I think it's actually a little bit of a shame, perhaps, that it's not because this is they're back doing this proper now. Hall of Fame, good and proper. They're gonna have a big live crowd there if they stick around. But I liked it when it was its own event. You know what I preferred? I was watching some old Hall of Fame stuff last week, and when it was just the wrestlers without all the fans messing it up a little bit, do you know what I mean? It sounds like I'm being a dick here, but quite often all the fans, I've heard what chants and stuff at the Hall of Fame, and people interrupting stories and trying to get themselves over in the crowd. I liked it when it was just the wrestlers and the producers and all the old timers and all that sort of stuff. It felt a bit more prestigious rather than this ticketed event which was going to be shown on the network or wherever, and they could make a fair few quid off the ticket sales. I preferred it when it was a thing, people in the industry celebrating people in the industry.
It could have done with less one more match.wav though. That would have been fine, because obviously we were in the Thunderdome and they were piping those bad boys in.
Piping that. That's what it's so, sorry, Carrie. Yeah.
And speaking of WrestleMania, which is coming up very, very soon, a celebrity match possibly coming our way. This seems like an easy win, doesn't it?
He's my buddy. He was class in the Rumble, and I was a bit disappointed because all the reports were saying that Johnny Knoxville was going to come in, and this was it. It ends at the Royal Rumble, and then he came into the Royal Rumble, and he did some bloody cool stuff. It was really fun, but he wasn't in there for too long at all. He was never going to be in there for a tremendous amount of time, but I expect him to do a little bit more in the Rumble. But it does look like it's not all over for Johnny Knoxville yet. So based on the angle at Jackass Forever's premiere and a WWE survey asking fans their opinion of Johnny Knoxville's run with the company. It has been a run. It's been a run.
Quite the run.
Sure. There's a lot of speculation Knoxville's feud with Sami Zayn will extend until WrestleMania. The fact that Sami Zayn did the thing at the Jackass premiere certainly suggests that that's where they're going. It's a nice payday for Johnny Knoxville. It'll be a bit after the film has been released, and it won't have been released on digital streaming services or Blu-ray or anything like that yet. So there's not a great deal to plug as such, but it's a nice payday for Johnny Knoxville once again. And with the Jackass intellectual property looking like it's going to continue with some of the fresh faces that they've introduced on this latest film, then it makes sense to just continue plugging away the Jackass brand. You can tell how excited I am about this.
I think Knoxville will have a great match.
Yeah, I think it'll be really fun.
I really
He's a hell of a performer. He's so fun. And you know what? When he ran down the ramp, flanked by all of his Jackass buddies, just his gear immediately, it clicked straight in my head. That's like Andy Kaufman.
Kaufman, isn't it? It's
It really was. And I think they're going to have a lot of fun. And what better person to be in there with than one of the greatest sort of comedic wrestlers, or he's certainly got decent comedic chops about him, Sami Zayn, who has been tremendously entertaining on SmackDown. So glad the company re-signed him, because I think he's doing, although he's nowhere near the top of the card, he's doing some of the best work of his career.
Amazing.
Right now.
More news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Check out the podcast feed for a brand new episode of Desert Island Graps featuring Al Snow. We had a chat last night, did Al and I, about all sorts of things. He's doing loads of good stuff at OVW. And we talk about, he loves the UK. Al Snow loves the UK.
Oh, awesome.
Big fan of the UK.
What does he like about the UK?
He likes how we sit outside in the cold, despite the fact, whatever the weather is.
That's a northern UK thing. I hate that about the UK.
Do you?
Since moving up here, all of them, when we go for drinks, it's always just like, let's sit outside. It's pissing -2 out here. Why? Oh, we've got those. It's all right, they've got heaters. Those heaters are crap. They don't work at all.
But you remember when the
Sit
world
indoors.
reopened up post that lockdown 1.0?
Yeah.
And it was like, I would just want to go to the pub. I just want to be in the pub. 11:30 in the morning, I just want to be in a pub. Or near a pub.
In a pub.
I want a draft. I want a pint on draft.
Yeah.
On the planet somewhere. So we talk about that and wrestling, of course. He chooses his 3 favourite wrestling matches. Cultaholicshop.com, there is still Blart socks available. If you wish to celebrate the departure of Shane McMahon in the only way that Ross will allow you to, grab yourself, that's it, one of them bad boys. Maybe put one on both arms. If only there was a hand motion that you could do to commemorate having a Blart sock on both arms, but I cannot for the life of me think of one right now. But if you think of one, let us know. Cultaholicsshop.com.
Come on!
How'd you do it?
What? This isn't a TikTok dance, Tom. You're wanking a couple of invisible knobs. What are you talking about? Right, do it. You go boom.
Right, boom,
Boom.
boom, 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 boom.
Wrestling news. There you go.
That's how you do it. Love you, bye. Get that on Giphy, you cowards.
Too far.